There's a verse that's really sticking with me today with everything that's been going on this past couple weeks. And it's, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for God is with me, right? The Lord is the shepherd, we shall not want. His rod and his staff, they comfort you. You know those verses? I'm not a pastor, I'm not a preacher, I didn't go to seminary, I'm not prophetic, I don't claim to be any of those things, but hear me out. What would it hurt? What would it hurt to download an app on your phone, like the Bible app, sit in a quiet room for a few minutes and say, Lord, show me something. I don't know if you're real. I don't know how this works. I'm really stuck right now, but looking around this world, I can see that evil exists. And if evil exists, good must also exist. Please show me. What would that hurt? So many people look around the world right now and say, if there's a God, then why do bad things happen? Here's a really, really, really superficial example that I think people can understand better. If you spend every minute with your kids, you teach them everything that you could ever know, why do your kids mess up? Why don't they listen? Why do they get into trouble? Does that mean you're an awful parent and you don't care about them? Or does that mean no matter how hard you try, no matter what lessons you teach them, no matter what skills and tools you give your children, they're not perfect. They still have their own mind. They still do their own thing. Sometimes they still mess up. But here's the thing. When your children mess up, do you throw them out the front door and say, F you, never come back because I forbid you from seeing me? Or sometimes you just have to sit back and wait and watch them mess it up so that they can be like, oh, I see what I did there. Sorry to burst your bubble, but there's not a single parent on this planet that hasn't been disappointed in their children at some point in their life. Just like there's not a single child, which, means any person that is a child of somebody, that hasn't caused their parents some sort of disruption, sadness, anger. I have one more example for people that are like, why would God allow people to mess this up? Why would he tempt them if he didn't want them to be imperfect? It doesn't take a massive Google search to find out how many trust fund babies who had literally their entire life handed to them, never had to do anything hard for themselves in life. So how many of them ended up either on drugs, completely broke, or in prison? And we're going to blame the parents for that one? Because the parents literally did the best they could, they thought, by giving their children literally everything they could ever ask for. So again, I'm going to ask you, what would it hurt?